I don't want to take credit for this because I got it from another beautiful sister in sobriety. But I got good, I got God, and I got gone.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the #1 mental health and addiction podcast, The Hopeaholics. I am your girl, Natalie Eva Marie, and these are my boys.
I'm Chad.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow us on our socials and wherever you get your podcasts.
Got a new episode dropping every Monday and Thursday. Please come check it out.
This episode is brought to you by the Infinity Group. You guys, if you or a loved one is suffering, please call us today. The number is right here on the screen. We are here for you 24/7. Now, let's get into the episode.
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
No, it's Morae.
Morae, sorry.
Yeah, but don't you do like one hooray and then Morae?
I don't know. I thought we just did Morae.
Hip, hip.
Morae! Welcome to the Hopeaholics Podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Round 2.
Yeah, no, this is round
We're on
one.
2-ish because we had it at Recover Out Loud. Like
Yeah,
round 2 with us.
Round 2 with the stretch. I'll give you the stretch.
that is a stretch.
It's a
for sure.
stretch.
You know.
They're just countering everything I say today, so I'll be a little bit more on the quieter side because
That's just
Yeah,
silly.
no, you're
Like-
not. You're never that. You stop. That's baloney. You say that, and then it never happens. You know what? I'm gonna hold you to it this time, Morae. I'm gonna jump right into it. You got a great personality. You're bubbly. You're loving. You're kind. You're smiling. You have this infectious characteristic about you that just wants people to talk to you and to love you. But there was pain. I want to go back to what brought you to your knees and what made you just give up and become
Surrender.
this.
Wow, that is my story. That's all the time we have.
and that's it.
No, but that's so beautiful for me to hear because that's the message that I want to carry. So I drank and used for 32 years. And when I got sober, I went through more pain than I ever did when I was out there drinking and using. And I thought that was enough, being on the streets, the trauma, the witnessing. I've seen things I've never wanted to see, and I've done things I've never wanted to do. And getting sober, I just thought everything was going to be, like on a silver platter type of thing. I'm doing this. Where's my reward? Hey, and it wasn't like that for me. And, I was crying this morning. I'm really grateful to be here. I love how you guys keep hope alive. And I was really praying this morning because my story's so long. And I was praying about what would the message be. And you hit it right on the nail. Because I really believe that if I didn't go through that pain, because I've always believed in God, always. But I wanted that sign. I wanted to feel him. I wanted that reassurance. Or I can remember when I had 6 months sober, and I'm watching everybody else, in the 12-step meetings I was going to, and everybody was getting their families back. Girls were coming in with dozens of roses, and my family didn't do that. They didn't do that for a long time. And I'm really grateful for that. I would pray to God, can you throw me down some money or let me know I'm doing okay? And I didn't get that right away. But what I did get is things that I didn't understand that I understand today. I would always say, it's a coincidence, or, is this real? Dimes are in my path. And I don't know if you guys believe in that, but it's a big deal for me. When I was struggling a while ago, my son went missing. And by the way, today is his 31st birthday. And that's the reason I scheduled today's date for this podcast. Because I never thought my boy would ever look at his mother the same, And dimes would be in my path everywhere. I'm talking in the most bizarre places. Like I'd open my car door and I'm having a really bad day, found out I have to have another surgery, all that doubt. God was really, really big when things were going good. And then the longer I stayed sober, I started doubting, and I would open my car door and there'd be like a dime, like right there at like AM, PM, or I'd be at Walmart and a lady behind me would drop the dime and I would be, I'll get that for you. So dimes have always been in my path, and I'm believing that today because my original date that I got sober was in January 10th, 2010. And I find that kind of interesting. Now my new sobriety date is February 4th, 2014. But I can tell you that I've been through quite a bit of pain.
Did you say February?
Yeah, 2/4/14.
2/4/14.
Now it's like there's fours.
You're 11 years sober.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. It blows my mind.
I have a thing with pennies. It's funny you said that.
Well, I have a thing with numbers.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
10 is my number. So I have a 10-bed facility now. Your first is, your first sobriety date is 10. But I think what is powerful with what you said, especially for people that are walking in their early bouts of sobriety, is that's the magic right there. Is nothing is going to all of a sudden, just because you're sober, is great, but don't have this misconception of like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden you're going to get your family is going to come like, yes, yay, because how many times have we said, this is the last time, I'm not doing this again, and then we fall back on our word, because at times we really do mean that at that very moment.
Oh, yeah.
And then it all of a sudden doesn't happen that way. And so it takes time for us to win the trust back by, staying the course and doing those actionable steps so that they can actually see the change happening in each individual. Yeah. And like, there is no blueprint of things coming back to us.
Yes.
Eventually things do fall into place if we stay the course, and it's just holding on for that time, because everything happens for other people at different times. So it's like, you can't compare yourself to people that are getting families back sooner than you. And because our stories are all very different, and the time is going to reveal that if you keep staying with it and staying consistent and believing and having the faith.
Yes.
And your story's super important. I just want you to know, because there are people right now who are waiting. They're in that waiting period. And, God had you wait for whatever reason.
Yes.
And oftentimes it's like, it's to help that other person that's in the waiting.
Absolutely. Growing up, I grew up in church. I'm adopted. I was born in the 60s. And I can remember my first rehab I went to was called Lost Heads Ranch. I find that kind of funny because, our heads are lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't have detoxes. They didn't have medication. I don't even think they had 12-step. I remember them putting movies on that triggered me, Less Than Zero. I'm watching people do.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that movie?
Of course, I remember that movie.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to do cocaine after I watched it. I remember they put you way out in the desert, and I can't tell you how many times. It was 132 degrees in Palm Desert, and I'm wanting to leave, and then you come back. And they had us detox, or myself, they gave me sugar water to drink. And they had other people come in the room, and I understand it today, but they had other people coming in the room where I had to watch them. Like the intervention was supposed to scare me into staying sober. And what it did is I relapsed. I felt responsible for that girl. The next morning she was gone. They said she was in the hospital, and then I never saw her again. But I truly didn't know what this disease is. And I'm so grateful for the treatment. I'm so grateful for the 12 steps because growing up in church, the things that I witnessed, and growing up Italian, and, they were Catholic, and then grandma divorced, and you can't be Catholic. So then it was Lutheran. And I just remember it so repetitive, and having to dress up in the morning, and wanting to feel like my grandma felt. You know, she was dancing and, you know, singing. And I always wanted that, but I never got that. And it's almost like with my addiction. I always wanted what everybody else had. How come it affects them differently, you know? Like they do one and they're having fun and they go home with their families. I do one and I'm in a city I don't know with a nylon on my head and a sawed-off shotgun going, how did I get here? And I'm at like the Red Onion in the city of Anaheim. And I end up in places and I just wanted to feel like everybody else. And little did I know that I was right where I was supposed to be the whole time. Like this whole journey, it just touches me. Like it's brought me closer to God. Know that my trauma, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. And how I don't overthink God. You know, he puts me right at the right time, at the right moment where I'm supposed to be.
Amen.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Perfectly said.
It's just, you know, when I'm trying to control, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, all of us are.
So true.
Yeah, when we're in
like,
the
come
driver's
on.
What was the actual moment though that was like your last run? Because you said you started your first sobriety was 2010, and then, you clearly took control back, and then now you have your new date, which is the 2/4.
2/4/4. It's kind of funny how it's like that's all. I want to say it like kind of 2/4/14. Yeah. I don't know why my head wants to say it like that. It's almost like when I was 1/10/10, I said I was rin-tin-tin. Like I was drunk in the meetings. Hey, I'm rin-tin-tin. I came in and I like to say this, and I don't want to take credit for this because I got it from another beautiful sister in sobriety. But I got good. Yeah. I got God, and I got gone.
Ooh, that's good.
And it's so true because, you see people get their lives back. And in the beginning, I did. I got my life back. I was in sober living. I got a car. And I stopped doing the do, and shame on me. Because no matter how good, I'll speak for myself, but it's so true. Like God blesses us in our life, whether it be not so much material, but spiritual, and having that sound mind and knowing that the little things that we learn, getting on our knees and praying and doing all that. And I was doing panels and I was sponsoring women, but things started happening in my life. And I forgot to do that. I forgot to pray. I got angry. Really, God, and it came back. I was dry for a long time. I don't know if you guys understand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, guy.
It's the worst.
It's
worse than being out there.
It was the worst of the worst. I mean, I almost took my own life. I almost rode a bicycle into oncoming traffic. And I knew where to go. I knew who to call. And I started isolating. I started doing everything I did, you guys, when I was using meth. I would sit in a bathroom with 4.5 years of sobriety, picking my face. And I thought that only happened when I was loaded. I would sit in my room and people would knock on the door. I go, I'm sick. And then I started calling in sick to work, sober, and it's the bedevilments that came alive in my life. Prey to misery, can't be of real help to anyone. It was just so insane. I couldn't pray. I would go into a meeting and I would look around and I would run out. I wouldn't even stay. I would, you know what I mean? That weird feeling. And I finally relapsed. And it was a gnarly relapse. And I knew where to go. I didn't call, and I detoxed myself in my own room, and I almost died. And I didn't know that until I talked to somebody. This is before I knew a lot more about detox and treatment. I swelled up as if, when you eat fish and you're allergic?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I was all swollen. My fingers were this big. I was sitting in the bathtub, and it took me about 10 days to really come out of my room and the sweats, and then I made it back into Alcoholics Anonymous. And I knew then, no matter the goodies, the shitties, I got to keep coming back. I got to carry a message, because recovery is real. It's real. It's like quicksand. And if I don't share about what's really going on, then I'm not telling my story. And this time around, it's been gnarlier than the first time. I've had a lot of surgeries. It's, the first time around that when I came in 2014, I found out I had a broken jaw, broken wrist, broken fingers, didn't know it. I had to have reconstruction surgery on my jaw. Then I became septic like a year later. And, it goes on and on. I mean, life happens, and I know it's all a result of my lifestyle, and I'm just so grateful that I never thought of drinking once, that I knew what to do. But I mean, I'm going to tell you something. There was a lot of fucks in there. There was a lot of fucks in my prayers too. And it's the truth, but God took care of me the whole time. I just needed to walk through spiritual pain rather than being loaded pain, if that makes sense.
For sure. Amazing.
Where did you how did so you were adopted? Where did you grow up? What city did you grow up in? And then how did you get from being that little girl to becoming an addict?
Very interesting. So I was born in the 60s, and adoption back then was really different. And I still have the receipt. I was $66 in the city of LA. And growing up for me, I looked really, really different than the family that adopted me. So I'm going to say from a child, the curiosity was there. I mean, we just kind of look at ourselves, I had very olive skin. I had blonde hair. My mother looked like Snow White. She had very black hair. And the curiosity was there. I would always look in the mirror, and I know that today, we moved around a lot, so I can't even tell you. I was born in Long Beach. You name the city, I've lived there, because my mom remarried a lot, and those fathers were in the military. So where there was a base, that's where we moved. They were in military or law enforcement. And I just started to rebel. The head's so funny that you get these lies that you tell yourself. And I hated my mom. I was angry with my mom. And my mom really did the best she could. I only know that today from working the steps. But I rebelled. At 14, I met a gentleman that was a lot older than me. And it was off and running from there. I was a cheerleader. I was homecoming queen. I mean, I had all these goals and visions, right? I was going to go to the school in New York. I was a choreographer, dancer for many, many years. Oh, wow. My idol was Paula Abdul, the Lakerette.
Sure. Yeah.
And I used to do pageants, and cocaine and PCP is what I started out with, because I hung out with a gentleman that was head of one of the largest gangs. And I had no idea, he was my everything. I lost my virginity from him, what we do, or what I do. I'm going to speak for the women. And it was abusive. And I was his property. And, my mom didn't like him. It's like, I love him. You got bruises and hickeys all over your neck. And I'm going to the cheerleading, I'm in the cheerleading game with a scarf on, but hiding that, a lot of domestic violence and is in my story, because we always go back to the abuser. We just do until we work on the inside, because we feel that's all that we're worth, right? But I wouldn't change that, because believe it or not, that gentleman made amends to me. It's funny how God works. I mean, it's not funny. It's amazing. When you start praying and you're doubting and all these things, I got away with a lot of stuff. I only went to jail once, and I don't say that to be prideful. I say that because I drank and I used over my own lies. Putting my head on my pillow, knowing what I did and not getting caught, And when you work these steps, it's so beautiful how it's all lined up if I just stayed. And I learned that just staying out of the way. You know, like I was on my 9th step and I was praying and I'm like, oh God, I cannot see this person. There's no way. And I hadn't seen this person in 15 years. And she's at a Walmart when I got sober. And I knew right then and there that I needed to say, hey, I have something I need to share with you. And we set up an appointment. But anyway, I didn't mean to get off topic.
No, fine.
I think really the drugs and alcohol and going to drugs and alcohol was my own lie of thinking my family didn't want me. Why am I so different? Why can't I drink and use like my friends? Because in the beginning it was just experimenting. You know what I mean? I'm doing it because they're doing it. It's a football game. Hey, you know, but I was the one pumping the keg and having it in my mouth. Like that wasn't normal, right? It wasn't. I wasn't the one that wanted to pour the drinks. I never drank ladylike, ever. I was the one at the bars ordering the shot. I wanted the flaming Dr. Pepper, where they light it on fire and they threw it down. Because I wanted everybody to...
Too.
Oh, man. And I loved Chambord. I loved it. They called it a Raz-tini. You know, like trying to downplay the drink.
Yeah.
And it's a liqueur, but then they would put it in a chilled glass, you know, because I wanted everybody to ask me, you know, you're drinking something different, you know, like that
We're
attention.
elegant.
Well, that attention. And the next thing you know, I'm dancing in the cage, taking my clothes off, going, wait a minute, how'd this happen, you know? But it's
So was Shane, don't worry. And he wasn't even drinking.
It's true.
But it's funny, you know, I wanted to be a choreographer, dancer, and here I am, you know, doing, you know, it's funny, you know, how our past becomes our best asset. That's so huge for me. You know, everything I've been through. It's funny how people want to get sober. I'm going to do this. And then when they go and get stuff, I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
where are you? What happened? Call me.
Totally.
Let's fight this fight together, you know, like just by them talking. You know, I just got a message this morning. A girl was struggling. She has more sobriety than I do. And we just talked. And she goes, oh, my God, that helped. I go, bingo. There's your solution.
Yeah.
It's when we don't talk. And being honest about how we feel, you know? Because believe me, I cry, I kick, and I scream still. But I do have that solution, you know, and I'm so grateful for that.
So, Morae, you talked about your son. He's 31 right now.
Today's his birthday.
his
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Josh.
Yeah, happy
nice.
birthday, Josh.
And I know he's going to watch this
Amazing.
because he loves you.
my
He loves
God.
all of you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone loves good old fucking Natalie.
Nobody.
I'm joking. I was joking. That was a tease right there. It's true, though. She's lovable. She's kind. She's welcoming. She's got a great smile.
It's just crazy, though.
It is.
My son watched, I already shared this with
Yeah.
her. My son watched her on TV. I feel like it's a total God shot, how I got here, how Danny Boy, you know, he's such a good friend of mine. And I don't believe, if someone asks me, it's all part of God.
Right.
If I'm saying no, then that's my self-will.
Totally.
And I don't want to live with any regret today at all. And it was so crazy. My son's all, no way, Mom. And you know, I told you the whole story. And when you guys asked me the dates, I was supposed to come, you know, right after. And I picked the 20th. And I woke up this morning saying, happy birthday, son. Thank you, God, for my sobriety. Thank you for Hopeaholics, carrying that message of hope. Because we all matter. Our voices matter. They matter. You know, I call myself, I'm almost going to cry. I call myself the Fruit Loop in the Cheerios of life. You know what I mean? And someone got me this made and I wore it today. You know what I mean? Because other people's opinion of us never has to become our reality.
Never.
We all should shine. You know, I hear that a lot. I hear people saying, you know, everybody's staring at me. Everybody's looking at me. They're mad because I'm so happy. I go, you keep being happy, baby. Because this is the high I've craved my whole life. No PCP, no LSD, no cocaine, no meth, no crack. Oh, God, that stuff. Oh, God. Chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
Sure. God.
Only you and Shane know
I
about that
love
one.
That's
Oh.
one thing.
Oh.
That's brought me to my knees.
Oh, my God.
That's the one drug.
Oh, I'm doing crack and I'm cooking it with people that I don't even know. And the next thing you know, I'm looking in the mirror, I have a nylon on my head and I'm still there for a month. It was so, and what's so crazy about me is I would joke about it. Like, I think the joking for me, you guys, kept me in my disease longer, if you understand that.
Yeah.
It was minimizing it, justifying it,
Yeah.
because I would joke about it. You know, I would be like, yeah, let's get the Brillo pad, you know, like the craziest things, like not understanding how sick that was, like having one eyebrow and joking about it with my friends. You know, they'd say, let's go, what happened to your eyebrow? I go, I left it in the motel room. You want to help me find it? But it was okay for me to go back in the motel room. They left, so worried about me, to stay in that motel room for another 6 weeks when I had a husband at home, a family at home, a condo, my son. But I really think that I sabotaged, you know, because I tried out, this is funny, I was just telling Lisa about this. You know, I tried out for the Raiderettes in the 80s, and I made it to the 3-day cut, and we're in a hotel room, and I didn't make it down, you know, because I got too drunk. But what's funny is that wasn't God's plan, right? So, but I drank and I used over my own mistakes. It's truly what it is. Why did I do that? Why? Why couldn't I have done that? Why didn't I go to school in New York? Why did I hang out with those people? You know, like, I'm grateful for all of that, the hell that we put ourselves through, and the things that I've done to my body, you know? Like, look at us today. It's just amazing.
Miracle.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. Sorry, I'm so freaking happy.
No, that's beautiful.
You know how we found you? Because you know I love Danny. And shout out to Lansdale.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Lansdale. Like he kind of like, you know, in my he helped mentor me in just my speaking ability and stuff like that, and just somebody to also like drop, like, you know, help you build your confidence and stuff like that. And Danny is such a great speaker, especially, you know, when he's talking, he's telling his story.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yes.
I could sit there and just listen to it for an hour, hour and a half. I could, you know, whatever, without really tuning out. And we were doing the ladies' night, and I was like, I need a female. I literally, I texted him. I said, I need a female Danny Lansdale. That's what I said to him.
Yeah, you did.
For our event. And it was you.
You popped up.
Yay.
And
You
you
did
showed
not
up.
You
disappoint.
did not. No, right? She did not disappoint.
Honestly, we want to bring you back to be our main speaker,
Oh, cool.
because you're so good.
I might need a microphone headset. Remember?
Oh,
I
yeah.
run around.
Right.
I had never held a microphone.
You really want to channel that Paula Abdul.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like when we talk about hope and we talk about recovery and we talk about the journey and we talk about not overthinking God or the higher power, that power is what I've craved my whole life. Getting high on crack, I wanted the energy first to, like, you know, do things,
Yes,
right?
Of course.
And then the energy to just show up. And now it's like, it's just amazing. Like, I know when I leave here, I've shared this in a lot of, when I speak, I want to go vacuum and I have no carpet. Like, it's the energy, it's God in me.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to apologize for that.
Never.
Ever.
That's the Holy Spirit in you.
Oh, it's, you know, it's my mess and message, right? It's shining bright like a diamond.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I love using songs, you know. Again, my past is my best asset. I remember being in motel rooms all by myself, just broken, you know. And there's 2 books in the motel room. You know, there was a phone book. Now I'm really telling my age. And a Bible. And I remember just that spiritual malady, you know, just opening it up, almost like when I relapsed, opening up the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, knowing and torturing ourselves, you know. But I needed that. I needed that push, you know. And that's what I like to carry a message. You keep fighting the good fight, no matter how many years you have, you know. Like, I'll just share this with you guys. I woke up on Valentine's Day with double vision. And there I go again. My head's already run out. I'm going to have another surgery. I'm going blind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all those those things, like, really? Because I'm seeing two of you. And I didn't want to see anything. And it's important that we talk about that stuff, and it's taken a little bit of my quality of life. On the way over here, I'm all, Lisa, is my eyeliner on right? Because I'm afraid I was going to put it where my eyebrow was. But it's just getting into acceptance, and, things happen. I went to more meetings. I called my sponsor. People prayed with me. No, tomorrow's never promised.
No.
Never. Anyway.
No, and we say it all the time, and I'm a firm believer that Alcoholics Anonymous got this thing right a long time ago. Yeah. Like, we can call it a disease. I'm totally fine with that. It fits the definition of a disease. But the truth is, we have a spiritual malady. Yes. And I think that everybody that's an addict and an alcoholic, the true one, the real deal, us, right? The real deal. We're spiritually sensitive. And we need God.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
To direct the traffic, to guide us, to take over the wheel of our life. Because otherwise, we're a mess.
Oh, yeah.
A true mess. And I, I've been in those same motels as you've been in. And the ones that had phone books, I was in there because I'm not old. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. When I was shooting meth, and I was in a hotel room, motel, not hotel.
Yeah, motel.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Say what? Where were you at, bro? Where were you at? Don't say you don't know that song.
Never heard it before.
Wow.
Who is it? Like Kool in the Gang?
Oh.
Who is it? It's also a Snoop Dogg song.
It's a remix, I think.
No,
with
never heard it the first time. Otherwise, I would have joined in.
Anyway, when I'd open that drawer and I'd see that Bible, I'd slam it shut.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want nothing to do with that Bible. That thing scared the hell out of me. And thankfully today, God is good, man. And through Narcotics Anonymous, for me, I found a connection.
Yes.
I got reconnected with God because I was always I grew up in the church, and I got reconnected with God. And God never changed. Yes. What changed was my perception of God.
Yes.
I had a misconception of God my whole life from religion.
Yeah. From man.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Because like what they kept pounding in my head was eternal damnation, and that I'm a sinner, and that I'm gonna die, and I better repent, and I was like, fuck, I can't stop doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stop doing what I'm doing. Repenting's not gonna help because I'm gonna do it again in an hour.
Yes.
It's
like religion is superhuman power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember growing up and, even going to therapy and going to church and witnessing not so good church things by the church people.
Completely.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just crazy to me. So, but I remember being on the streets in my disease, going to different churches, because from the bottom of my heart, I would go to a Catholic church and ask them to do the Ash Wednesday. Yeah. And in my mind, I truly believed that I was not going to drink and use.
Of course.
When is your baptism? And I would look on their schedule and I would go back. And then I would lie to them, and they would give you motel vouchers.
Oh.
The churches would do that.
Sure.
Wow.
They'll give you food cards. So I knew where to go.
Sure.
But I was lying the whole time.
Yeah.
It's when we're beaten up so bad. Pain is the touchstone, man.
Yeah.
We don't die. When you get sober and you walk through that pain, it's amazing. It's like God was poking sunshine in me. And I'm not going to change anything for that. Anything. It's amazing. I'm so glad that I have a relationship.
Yes.
Not religion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
That to me is huge, because I make mistakes every day.
Totally.
Every day. I mean, I say I say
F-word?
fucking God, and I didn't
do
know
too.
if I could cuss on
Dude,
you.
I do it too. I drop F-bombs like crazy. But like my relationship with God, he's like my homie. He knows me.
And
he's
it's my father.
Totally. And that's what it's like. We get to spread the good news where like no one is alone. And it's unfortunate that religion and churches and establishments have kind of tarnished what really like the follower of Christ is, because he is always there. He is always ready for you. He is always loving, forgiving, compassionate.
And ain't tripping at all if you freaking
not at all.
If you stumble and fall
Not
in
at
whatever way that is. I mean, because here's the thing. If you're self-righteous, anybody that sits up on the thing thinking that, a sin is different, there's no difference between, me telling Shane a lie to me, murdering somebody. A sin is a sin is a sin.
Correct.
And it doesn't matter. So, like, I know, what I see a lot in churches and stuff in men is like they're so scared about like, oh my god, porn you know.
I looked at you. I'm sorry. His eyes got real big.
I mean, that one gets me, bro. Like, it's okay, you're not gonna die.
Showing my
Well, I
guilt,
think
too.
the one that gets me is the judgment. It's like when you walk into a church, that should be, yes, I'm sick. I'm here now to get healed. Like that's why I'm coming here seeking God. So the nerve of people that are in a church to turn a blind eye or a shoulder or point a finger or turn you away is absolutely ludicrous to me.
Disgusting
It's
behavior.
Like that's not, and it says it in scripture. You know, it's Jesus comes to heal the sick. People that don't have a problem or are not sick don't need a doctor. Sick people do. Yeah. That's why I'm here. Like,
it's funny you say that because, Jesus didn't take the perfect people.
No, he didn't.
What is perfect? He said, you're a murderer, you're a thief, you're
tax
a
collector, prostitute.
Come
holler
with
at me.
Yes.
I got you.
And it's just so beautiful. And, I would have never gotten what I have today without going through the hell and the pain that I went through, and I wouldn't change it for the world at all.
I feel like he does that on purpose because it is that time where we all sitting here, really tried to drive the bus, right? And it's like he has to take, everyone's different, their bottom or whatever is going to be different and looks different on every single person. However, that demoralization and that pain of like surrendering and calling upon him is like, that's the moment, is because you are done. You are beat up so bad that you have nothing else left, that you have to rely on him.
Yes.
Like there's nothing else left in you you have no more answers. You have no more things to fall upon. It's like, God, please help me. Yes. And it's like, he has to bring you to that breaking point where it's like, okay, I'm yours. Yeah. Like, help me out, roll with me. And if we don't get there, we can't fully accept him.
Right. And a lot of that too, that could cause us to relapse.
For sure.
Too. It's like he's opening a door. We feel it. I think we all have the fundamental idea of God.
I do too.
It's like that intuition they talk about, right? Yeah. Like, I've always known the difference between right and wrong.
Absolutely.
Always. And I made a conscious decision. Like, I didn't even know what sobriety was. Like, I didn't even know what the word abstinent meant. But I knew that I made a conscious decision the morning that I woke up to call the dealer to plan it out with nothing in my system. So I made that choice, right? Or I saw a sign that said, don't touch the wet paint. Sure. And I'm pissed off at the world. I want to see how dry it is. Yeah. And how crazy that is when we get into recovery. It's acting my way into correct thinking. And it's taken a lot of acting, a lot. Like, to really understand that, even with 11 years, I still have to call my sponsor, and I'm like, oh, okay. I get that. Mm-hmm. Putting things into perspective for me, because I still get angry.
Of course.
And anger's fear. Mm-hmm. And, fear and faith cannot work together at all.
Especially at the same time.
Exactly. And, I don't, what really got me on my knees, is when my son went missing, and he's doing amazing today. Mm-hmm. And to feel that pain as a mother, he went missing just overnight, like out of the blue. He went schizophrenic. Oh wow! And there's no mental health. His father passed away, and we found out later he never processed the trauma, which he has now. But you can actually have a psychotic break like that.
Sure.
Not processing, internalizing his trauma. And he went missing. And everybody thought he was on meth. And I couldn't help him.
Right.
As a mother, I couldn't help him. But anyway, I got on my knees and I lost everything in sobriety. I've lost more than one apartment in sobriety. And that was not by any bad decisions I made. My son was in such a psychosis, he tried to catch it on fire, all of that. And we got locked out of the apartment, and that's when he went missing. And he was missing for several days. And my son's not like me. He's not street smart. So I was in so much fear. And people in AA surrounded me and took me in. And I couldn't even eat. I couldn't concentrate. I was screaming. I was on my knees. God, please help him. And after I had called Channel 7 News, I was all for it, man. I was calling the cops. I almost got arrested over it. And when I finally surrendered from my gut, like just with a dagger going in my heart, I got a phone call from my stepdaughter. He was in Sacramento. Is that not crazy, you guys?
Nice.
And he's doing amazing. He's what I found is we can't help, I'll speak for myself. I can't help the ones that are closest to me, that I love the most. Like I couldn't help my cousin. I couldn't help, but we can pray for them and we can provide them resources. And I've always seen that, it's like you can't beat recovery into somebody. I've seen that. I've seen that sometimes. Like we just keep loving them, no matter how many times they come back, no matter how much they need us.
Totally.
But I've learned that too. So,
it's so important because it's a hard journey, but I wouldn't trade it for the world because like you said at the beginning, what we were seeking by using a substance, it's like the power of having that relationship instills everything that I was searching for.
Yeah.
Everything, which is wild. And to try to put it into actual articulation and like get that out there is very difficult because it kind of sounds cuckoo-ish and a little bit like, oh my God, you're nuts, but it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like it's the best, it's the best feeling because you're not seeking the approval from others as once in time that like you're worried about this, that, or the other, because at the end of the day, all of us are insecure. All of us have our own fears. All of us have our own little like things that we're constantly worried about. But ultimately, seeking him and seeking his word, that's truth. That's the constant. But it is very much a daily reprieve.
Yes.
It does not matter how much time any of us have here because we have today. We have right now.
Yes.
And if we're not staying diligent, we have no problem falling off.
Yes.
Because our disease is right there.
Yes.
Every day, ready to take us out.
Yes. I never knew that my guilt, my shame, my remorse, my son, my mother, I never knew anybody would come back in my life, ever. I thought my life was completely over. I'm a horrible mom. You were adopted. How could you ever do this to your child? The morals, the values, and how I got rewarded by God in time and when I was ready for it. Like my son, and it's so beautiful because they forget. If we're doing this thing right and our behaviors have changed, they don't bring that up anymore. I don't want my adult son to say, or my mom say, remember when you did this? And it's about our behaviors, because when I was newly sober, my family thought I was loaded for a long time. She's like, are you doing that stuff again? I go, no, I have a sponsor, and I got almost a year, bitch. It's like, God dang it. Because for a long time, like, I still had the tweaker twitch. My teeth, for a long time, I've done a lot of damage, you guys, to my body.
Yeah.
It's funny. My son, I just started getting Botox.
Sure.
And I'm so grateful for that. I'm a trash digger, like, And what's so funny is I was telling my son, I go, he goes, Mom, I don't want you to do Botox. And I said, well, I don't want you to drink beer. And it's just funny how we joke like that. But just where I'm so grateful for my apartment by Disneyland, I just so grateful for the little things, it's taken a long time and I wouldn't change it for the world. Even when we go through stuff, it's like more prayer, more meeting, call more people, get out of yourself, Every one of us is beautiful and has something to offer.
For sure.
This whole world. Like to one person, to the world, you might be one person, but to one person, you might just be their world. Like what we say today, may affect someone for the rest of their lives. For sure. It's,
I mean, something. It's crazy. No, you almost made me cry right there because
wow.
I got the.
I thought about like, my daughter, my daughter. I know that I'm my daughter's world.
Yes.
And right now, if something happened to me, her world would be crushed.
Yes.
And she's the reason why everything good in my life exists. Yes. And I recently started a podcast with her because she's the reason why this podcast exists. Well, not her exactly, but her fiance is the one that died from fentanyl.
Okay.
And she found him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 2.5 years ago, and she struggled. And like you say, we can't help the ones closest to us. And I could lead by example. Yes. I can watch. I can check in.
And always be there. You're always there.
And I'm always there, no matter what. Yeah. Right? Like I don't understand any parent that couldn't be there for their loved one, no matter what. Like my kids could be a mass murderer, and I'm still gonna probably be wherever they are in prison,
putting money on their conversation.
Showing up. Mm-hmm. It's my child.
Totally.
In the
and that's not the thing about that. That's you as a man. Look at God. He's going to be exactly the same times up an infinity amount. You show up. You're always there, no matter what. Yeah. Like extending that hand of like, I'm here, I'm ready.
And my point to all of that is that through all of this, she's now what is she, 9 months
8?
Sober?
Working towards 9.
Almost 9 months sober.
That's so amazing.
Oh my God, amazing.
I know she's always wanted to work for me, and the answer was always no. It was truly always no, because 1, she wasn't sober. 2, she wasn't emotionally stable enough to be around, cute boys that come running through here, because and they're sick, and when she was sick, they looked healthy.
Oh yeah.
And she works here now. She's worked here for how long? Month?
Maybe a little over.
A month, Emily? About a month.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Another testament of what can happen.
It brings me to my son. His father died. It was 10 years on St. Patrick's Day. And he had a heart attack. He was very ill. My son blamed himself. And he was just 21. And it's just so beautiful because I can so relate. I don't know where my son would be without me. I mean, he's with my ex-in-laws, which I'm very grateful for, up near Sacramento. Mm-hmm. But he has walked through the pain and became the boy God has wanted him to become, to grow closer to him as well. But that was very, very painful to see him go through that.
And I don't know that everybody understands. Like your children, our children, they're gonna go through pain.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And as a parent, we feel every single bit of the pain that they go through. Yes. Every single bit. And you want to fix it as a parent. Mm-hmm. But the truth is you have to let them go through that pain. Because if they don't go through the pain, they will not grow.
Yes. And to watch them, sometimes when I would try to fix, it pushed him away.
Of course.
Oh, big time. Like, no answer the phone. And then I made myself more worried because of my behavior.
Totally.
You know, yeah, that's so true. That's so true. That's when we have to give our children 100% to God.
It's like, hard, man, and that's the hardest thing to do, right? Because you're like, that's when the fear comes in, right?
Yes.
Like the fear of
worry,
losing
Yeah.
your child. I mean, and the truth is, I'm gonna be really brutally honest with the world right now, and people that need to hear it is like our children, and you know. Some people that don't believe in the same spiritual realm that I believe in, they are not even ours. They're not ours in the first place. They're God's.
That's true.
You know, and if he calls them home before he calls me home, that is his choice. I get to see him again.
Yes.
I will get to see him. My dad lost his very first son. So he had a daughter, then he had a son, and tragic, traumatic event. Where he got run over by a car on my sister's 3rd birthday.
Oh, wow.
You know, and recently my dad was telling us that, you know, my dad was also a doctor working in the ER at the time.
Oh.
And he got to the ER when the ambulance got to the ER, and he, you know, held his son's head, and it was just crushed.
Wow.
And, you know, it's just one of the most painful experiences that he didn't deal with it until, and God bless my addiction, man. Because of my addiction, my dad went to the Betty Ford Center.
Wow.
To do family work on my disease, which turned out to be work in his own life.
Wow.
On his own trauma.
You know, it's funny you share that. I believe we're contagious. You know, like my sister's not an alcoholic, but she'll call me now. She'll have questions. I feel like I'm her therapist or something. And I'm like, wow, because I always thought I was the black sheep, you know, and I gave myself that title. Oh my gosh, I got so many free drinks at the bar too. I'd be like, I'm adopted. Maybe you're my daddy.
Hey, Shane might be.
Yeah. Shane's awful quiet over there when we talked about crack. I wanted to hear more about your crack. Oh, not your crack.
Well, here's the thing.
That I'll tell you.
Here's the thing. You can go to our Patreon and you can go to our Patreon and for
my crack
for $5.99 you can actually see his crack.
Oh God.
Right, Shane?
Oh yeah.
But you know what? Throughout all of our pain is like, without it, we wouldn't have the stories that we have to help people walk through what they've walked through, you know, from on different levels of some that are super traumatic, you know, to some that might not be that big of a deal, but they are to somebody else because it's making them
It's some
stuck.
different,
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that also helps you really get into gratitude for when you get past it and walk through it. And then you're able to like kind of look back at some of the stuff that you were able to walk through.
Yes.
And not only like share the message, but then give yourself that grace of like, thank you, God. Like you're walking with me.
Yes.
Like I'm stronger than I give myself credit for because I'm on the other side of it, you know?
I love that. You know, it's just crazy because sometimes when I'm really strong, I think I might be in self-will. If I make myself, I can do this, God, you know, and then I'm like forgetting about him. And then I'm in some pain or it's not working out. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like for me, I don't have to be so strong, you know?
No.
At all, you know? I was just sitting here when you guys were talking about crack. It just keeps bringing me back to crack with you. And I'm so curious to know about crack with you.
It was only a couple years of my life, 2.5 years.
Me, it wasn't very long.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That's because crack takes motherfuckers to their knees.
Oh, yeah.
Quick.
Quicker than any drug I've ever seen. But crack, I mean, the crap, I was in the addiction during the crack epidemic, right? And like, the crack people, man, when you saw them coming, you start putting your shit away. I was like a meth addict, smoking it at the time. And like, tweakers are bad, but like them crack addicts,
Oh, yeah.
they were coming to get your shit.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't just coming to smoke your shit. They were coming to take everything you had because they already sold theirs. I mean, Shane will tell you a story about wheeling his freaking couch down.
I never stole though.
That's because you had money.
Yeah, I sold everything. I never stole. No criminal activity from me. I just sold everything. Then once everything was gone, I kind of gave up.
Yeah.
I gave up. I called it quits.
Wow.
So are you the thief or the murderer?
I'm the murderer.
Oh, I'm the thief?
Yeah.
I thought I was the murderer.
Are you the murderer?
I think so.
Oh, and we're the prostitutes?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wouldn't have it any other way. Well, we couldn't be. Hell, we didn't do very well at all. We'd be broke. Shit.
Oh my God.
We'd have to do like.
How's your son today? Where's he living?
You missed it. You missed it.
Sorry.
He's in Rockland. He's doing amazing.
Oh, nice.
He went to the Kings game.
Oh,
last night.
beautiful. Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Buffalo Wild Bills. He's one of the main cooks there.
Oh, good for you. Thank God.
It's because I had to let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I am so I have a habit of trying to protect everybody, if you understand.
Yeah.
That. And I got to get off the cross, give up the wood, Morae, because that is not you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to stay in my hula hoop.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the hardest thing in the world to give up that.
Yeah.
It is.
And when it comes to your children, man, it's like.
It is.
That's where I see so many people go wrong, like working in the treatment industry for as long as I have. It's like you at some point you become a detriment to the progress of your child or the growth of your child.
Yes.
Because they overprotect. And every bird has to leave the nest.
Yes.
Every bird has to leave the nest and fly their own path.
Yes.
And, as parents, hopefully we've done our best.
Sure.
But the one thing that
I'm sorry. I just got to get over that little anecdote you gave. It was so nice and sweet. Every bird has to fly its own thing. And felt like I was in a fucking Jerry Maguire movie here, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was just, who are you?
I think
who are you?
No, I think it's so true because you're right. Hopefully.
I've recently had to release.
What the hell is going on?
Right? I got one left.
I know.
I got one left.
I see you're feeling it. You're feeling it, bro.
And do you think that Donna's going to
feel it. There's no way, Don. No chance. Donna's kicking and screaming. Yeah. She's going with her. Yeah. When you release her, you release both of them. Oh, you guys going to college? Where are you going? We're going to go JV down the street.
Donna
we're getting a room.
Donna will probably get an apartment right
guaranteed.
next to her.
They'll be sharing. They'll get a 2-bedroom, so on the weekends she can go there.
Can we cut this little part for Donna and just send it to her privately?
Holy shit. The little birdie over the plane, flying his own little way.
And your kids, it's like around like 16. My son was super easy. Like we just let him go.
He's a boy.
But boys can be a menace. He was just a good boy.
Yeah.
So school studies is the most important thing to him, right? But like my girls, man, at 16, they both of them, they start trying to break away, and try to become their own person. And 16's really not old enough. You can't be cutting a cord at 16. 21, gone.
Fuck.
That's so crazy because I was 14 and I was gone.
You were.
That just blows my mind. Back
and look at what happened.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's so crazy to me.
Oh,
like
man.
I didn't want to come home.
Yeah.
Because my whole belief was they're the problem.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, we get that from the girls. We're the problem. Just let me live my life.
Most of the time, girls are
let me live my life.
Daddy's girl, right? Daddy's girl.
I'm a daddy's girl for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I put my parents through so much, but it's also what you guys are saying is like, hopefully, you do the best that you can and drop whatever little gems in them and instill whatever something in them to bring them back, right?
Yeah.
So like it's because of the detriment and I just can only imagine the countless nights of worry that I've done is like I FaceTime my parents every night.
Yeah, so do I. Sometimes twice a day, morning and night.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
Have to.
I see my parents every Saturday.
Yeah.
I got to meet your parents.
Yeah.
They are so awesome.
Yeah.
I remember your mom running out going, I want you to do a comedy thing. Or something
I mean,
she thinks you and Danny Lansdale need to go on a comedy speaking tour.
but it's so crazy because I have so much love for anybody that's close to me, especially like moms and stuff.
Yes.
Like the other day in the office, his mom happened to be up here and she came into my office and she like walked me to my car. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'll have my little sporadic check-ins with just his mom.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't put her through nothing, not yet. But it's just because
You're loved.
totally.
Yes.
Totally.
And it's so funny how we're loved by strangers.
It's the best.
Like good strangers.
Yeah.
The stranger becomes your best friend in recovery.
Because you can feel like real love.
You're
from
ride
someone.
or die, like,
Yeah.
and it's so crazy.
It's beautiful.
It
That's
is.
why recovery is amazing. It's the best thing out there. It's the best thing. It's like you just hold on.
Yes.
Hold
And I
on.
don't have to listen to that music in the motel room. Now I can go back. When I told you guys there was a phone book and a Bible in there, I used to put music on, and it would just make me feel worse. You know,
Totally.
like the Michael Jackson song. I would look in the mirror with my
Oh,
one eyebrow.
God.
I'm
No.
gonna make
No.
a change for once in my life.
Huh, I don't know that song.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh man,
That one I know.
So good.
So good.
That's
Or-
Michael Jackson.
I had some nice cries to that one
Oh,
for
my
sure.
Are-
Or even I remember like
Yeah, that
listening
one
to
I
that
know.
song and actually looking at myself and like
Yo,
having a meltdown.
oh man, there's was
you
so
laugh at
many
me?
songs, and now this time around with all the hell that I'd been through, I'll blast the radio. I would walk 500 miles, and I would. I'm like, I'm gonna go to a meeting.
Yeah.
I know I got 11 years,
Yeah.
but I'm really pissed right now.
But you know what though? That's the gift of the program is because
Yes.
I know like my thinking is always like, no, I don't want to do any of the things that I should. But now I can counter it being like, yeah, I'll be at a meeting,
Yeah.
kicking and stomping, but I'll go.
Yeah,
You know, like it's just
totally.
a change of my thinking is always not right.
No, but I
unfortunately.
think that's the way. Like, I know my thinking isn't always right, but the beautiful solution is I can change it.
On a dime.
Just by the simple things.
On a
Saying-
dime.
I know. Hello,
dime.
Jen. But it's so it's interesting. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
But now I want to say I got 5 on it.
Messing with that Indo weed. You know that one, Shane?
No.
Yes,
Who are you?
Fucking
What do you listen
bro.
to? Nothing?
I knew the middle song.
Which one?
Michael Jackson.
Oh yay.
Oh gosh.
That's the kind of music he listens to. He listens to pop.
Oh,
He's all pop all the time.
What's
Yeah.
one of your favorite songs?
Britney Spears.
Taylor Swift.
It is.
No.
Yeah, huh?
I don't really listen to music except for my kids. My kids listen to music. I listen to their music. Whatever genre they're in, that's what I'm in.
Oh,
Right
okay.
now, I'm in the deaf one. I'm ignoring their music right now.
Oh.
My son's playing rap. My daughter's playing things like tasting the sweat off your body. I mean,
What?
just fucking these words she's singing about. She doesn't even know what the hell's going on.
Which
like,
one? The 5-year-old?
no, the 14-year-old. She's going.
14-year-old knows exactly what
Yeah,
it was.
She's
exactly.
going
Singing,
the,
bro.
The taste of your
Your sweat off your body.
skin,
Yeah, she's,
and I'm off your chin.
at
Close.
14.
you know what I'm
At
saying?
14
I'm
having
like,
sex.
I'm like, God,
Huh?
like, what did
Having
we?
sex at 14.
I already had sex at 14. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I left the house at 14.
Yeah, exactly.
So you
All of
definitely
us
were
are
having
fucking
sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had hickeys on her neck and all that.
Oh, guy.
I was not. I was a late bloomer. I was like 17, 18.
Yeah, but then you smashed for like fucking
It's like
17.
your body count is absurd.
Yeah, like, bro, I had sex at 14 and my body count's like under 30.
Yeah.
You had sex at like 19 and your body
Body count
count's
is
like,
triple
exaggerated up to 1,000.
Triple digits.
Yeah.
He says 4 digits.
Fuck, Shane.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
He says over 1,000. 1,400.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
bruh.
That means though, like you literally almost have to have sex with
I
a
don't even know
different
what to
girl
say.
every day.
Yeah, he was
Not
like,
really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
multiple.
1,400. You got to figure they're going for 30 years until 40. Until 40 when I got married. So go from 20 to 20. Go 20 years.
20
Wow.
years. That's
I
like
thought he said he
It's
didn't do any
nothing.
crime.
365
Oh, he was doing crime. He
During the 65 days.
out of the 1,000, out of the
That's
14,
nothing.
out of
Bro,
the,
that's
out of,
like damn near like a.
It's like 30 a year. It's nothing.
No,
it's one
it's
a month.
not.
Yeah, it is 1 a month for 20 years.
There's only 12 months.
It,
What are you talking
30
about?
a month, one a day.
Hold on, you're saying you're putting out hella too many numbers.
there's no
No,
way.
then there's
Let's
no way.
see.
Then it's 500.
Let's see.
Damn,
20
Shane.
Yeah, it was a lot.
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1,400
God, all my exes that thought I was loyal to them now. They're going to hear this.
They
When I was in long-term
1,400 women
relationships,
They knew.
uh,
14.
divided
they
by
all caught me.
20 is that's 70 girls a year.
Yeah.
Bro.
So divide that by 12.
Wait, are those including the ones that he paid?
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, actually,
70 divided
it was
by 12 is nothing.
It's
like what,
it was
60
it was
a
it was
month.
1,359.
That's 5
wow.
That's 5 a month. That's nothing.
Divided by 12 equals 5.8.
That's nothing.
six
five-
six a month.
That's
6 different women a month
Six
for
shattered
20
hearts.
years.
yes. Yes.
Disheveled ones that are picking up their pieces today.
Yes. As a matter of fact, 4 or 5 of my real long-term relationships, they're still not even married. I don't know what they're like.
Yeah,
they're
they had sex with you, and you've just
I don't know. But
really.
it's like 4 or 5 of them.
Showed him crack.
No, none of them. Not one. In the one I did.
Oh, thank
Just
God.
one.
And he
Yeah.
married her.
No, I didn't. Oh, 2 I did. One I married.
She
Still,
didn't do crack before she met you, did she?
she. I don't know.
This conversation is going.
Yeah, we went sideways.
Oh well. Anyways,
Yeah. So your relationship with your son is good, and his father is dead. You're doing great. What are you doing today on an everyday basis? How many sponsees do you have?
I have 5.
Nice.
Wow.
Good for you. You're still really in
really
it.
Do I hear from them? No.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're doing amazing.
Yeah.
And they call, in recovery, I know now that, when I had all those surgeries and I was walking through all that stuff, I had a lot of sponsees, a lot.
You
And-
needed it.
Huh?
You needed it.
There's your answer.
You needed it.
And it was so crazy because in early recovery, I'm like, I'm busy. I'm so busy. I'm so
Yeah.
busy.
It was nice.
And if you say my life is full,
Yeah.
I have a healthy,
Yeah.
useful life. And I know today that God put those women in my life because he knew I was going to have the surgery. He knew I was going to need them. He knew how I was wired. He knew I'd have PICC lines in. All, the surgery I
agree.
just had 2 years ago where I was almost paralyzed. People came and sponsees come and they go.
Yeah,
and
of course.
sponsees, we're all children of God,
Yeah.
right? But they're in our life for a reason, a season.
Yep.
And these women are doing amazing. And it's not about me. It's about just taking them through the book
Yep.
and what was done for me. When I start thinking I'm holier than thou,
No
and-
bueno.
No good.
oh man, or I'm carrying in a mess, and how many sponsees I got and this and that. I'm taking credit. I will never take credit for any of that. I just do what was done.
You're the
with me.
conduit or whatever the word is.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got a sponsor. It's funny how I came into AA. I know God brought me to AA because it was a club that nobody knew about. It was really small. It was secluded. I saw cigarette smoke and I heard laughter. And that is exactly why I went there.
Yeah.
I had no laughter in my life. I had no family in my life. Nobody wanted me around. And I was hungry and I needed a cigarette. And that is truly how my journey started. And it's funny how my head, it said club. They all have club on there.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you go, the NA meetings, the
Yep.
AA, they all say club. And I know how to club it. Hey. And it was weird because they had jukeboxes. You could smoke in them back in the day. And it was a place, it was like a bar.
Yeah.
It was totally like a bar for me. And getting a sponsor, I did it for selfish reasons. Just like I took the chips. I would get up and get a chip and I'd get my lip gloss. My name's Morae.
Yeah.
I'm an alcoholic. And I would continue to get chips even though you didn't need to get chips because I wanted everybody to check me out. There was a hot guy in the meeting. And I got a sponsor. I looked, she had a Coach bag. I saw her leave in a Mercedes. I had nothing, not even 2 eyebrows. And I had no food and I was living at these clubs.
Yeah.
And I got that sponsor and that's how my journey started. So I know that if somebody calls me or reaches out to me, it doesn't matter how we met, where we met, what state they're in, what country they're in, there's a reason they're asking me.
Totally.
And if I get a lot of them, I'll be like, okay, God, what is going to be so profound in my life that's coming up, you know, that I'm going to need them, you know. But yeah.
I love that. Good for you.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you
And
so much.
appreciate it.
Hip, hip, hooray.
hip, hip,
Morae!
hooray!
Hip, hip.
Morae!
And happy birthday to your son, Josh.
Yeah, 31.
31. Big
Nice.
31.
Nice.
Thank you for having me. I love everything you guys do.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
We love
it's our
you.
pleasure.
Keep
And-
hope alive.
That's
baby.
right. That's
and if
right.
you all can see what recovery looks like after during today's episode, man, that's what recovery looks like. That's what the 12 steps will give you. Give you a life beyond your wildest dreams.
Yay.